Hello, Shalom. Welcome back to my channel, The Sacred Word. Today we are going to deal with forgiveness. We're going to try to see the power that forgiveness brings to our lives. So first we're going to define what forgiveness is. And forgiveness is choosing to release resentment, anger, the desire for revenge towards someone who has wronged you, whether they apologize or not. So in the biblical sense, forgiving speaks of obeying God, and also it expresses love. So when Jesus was here, he taught us the Our Father prayer. He taught his disciples to pray. So now we know this prayer as the Our Father prayer. And in this prayer, it says, and forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And so it is expected of God to forgive our trespasses. So in return, we should forgive others. And when we do that, then life is easy and life is simple. But sometimes it's very hard to just forgive someone because it depends on the depth of the pain that the person brings to you. But we'll get to that. Anyway, the other part of forgiving is the expression of love. So when Jesus was dying, he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. This demonstrates extraordinary love and compassion that someone would have for another, have for your enemy, have for someone who is killing you, who is taking your life, who is you're on the cross, you're taking on the whole sin, the shame, and all of that for mankind. You know, at the time, they didn't even fully understand what Jesus was doing. But Jesus turned around. He looked at God's creation. He didn't look at what they were doing wrong. He said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And so as Christians, when we are wronged, we have to remember what God desires us to do, and that is to forgive. Also, with the prodigal son, this son took all his inheritance, went outside to see what the world has to offer, and the son wasted all the resources, his whole life savings. And so then when he was done, he knew he had done wrong, but he knew that there would be no other place that would receive him but his father's house. And when he went, he expected that his father would have treated him as one of the servants, but his father treated him as a son. And so this just demonstrates the love that God has for us. It doesn't matter how far we stray. It doesn't matter, you know, Jesus is there too, on the right hand of our Father, negotiating on our behalf. He's saying, God, forgive them, for they knew not what they did. Because Jesus was the Son of God who became flesh, so he knew what our flesh can do. He knows that sometimes we need help, and so we thank God for Jesus who is there. So we have to make a conscious decision now as children of God, as people on a whole, to forgive. We will make a decision not to hold on to anger and resentment. It frees us from emotional control that the offender has over us. First, you know, we are trying to find ways on how we can relinquish and we can get rid of unforgiveness. And that is first to acknowledge that we are hurt, we are in pain, we should try to just say, oh, this is what I went through. Don't suppress it. Don't minimize it. Don't put it aside, but deal with it, because suppression is just gonna block our healing, because somebody has done us wrong. We are in pain. We don't want to get to the place where we are bitter. We don't want to get to the place where this thing festers. So we're gonna treat unforgiveness like we get in a cut, and we have to assess this cut. We have to see how deep it is, and we have to say, okay, so if it's deep, it's gonna take a longer time to heal. If it's superficial, then it's gonna take a shorter time to heal. So it depends on the severity of the unforgiveness, how we were wronged, the pain that we have to bear from this, because we are only flesh. When Jesus can just brush it away, we are hurt. We are hurting. And this is something that we cannot say, oh, because, so that's why a lot of people go about not forgiving another person and suppressing it, and this thing comes up all the time, resurfaces, and this thing cannot go away. But we have to know that as a mature adults and mature Christians, that we have to get rid of this right away, and we have to make a choice. We have to make a deliberate decision and to get rid of this, because if not, then it's gonna resurface. And I always tell my children that when somebody wrong you, the offender is always happy and go lucky, going on doing what they feel that makes them happy and free, while you have this pent-up energy and dirty feeling and all this bitterness that is building up in you and building up more and more, and every now and again you remember bits and parts of it, and you start expressing and you start talking about it, and you start expressing anger towards this person, and soon you're gonna come, you don't want to talk to this person, you're malicing this person. But the thing is, yes, sometimes it's gonna lead to a point where you have to set boundaries and limitations, because this person is gonna continue to do this thing. Then you have to separate. If it's a situation where you can go to the person and say, okay, did you know that you had hurt me? Let us talk about this, because what you said or what you did really offended me. Can we talk about it? If it's someone who you cannot talk about, then you have to find a way how to say, why did this person do this thing? Why did this person talk the way they did? Why did the person treat me this way when I am always good to this person? Why? Try to look at this in the lens of empathy, finding compassion for that person, see why the person, see the root cause analysis of this, what happened, and see if there's a reason on the person's part. Sometimes people hurt you just once, and for the rest of the time they continue to be good. So sometimes it's something that we just need to query. We need to just examine and say, why did this happen? And then we can fix it. There are times when we just need to meditate, we need to pray, we need to reflect, and just try to figure out, so that we can find peace of mind and clarity, so that our feelings we can process our feelings and get on with our daily lives. Sometimes it's complex. Sometimes the hurt and the pain is deep. It's like a wound that is complicated and cannot be healed, and it's gonna take time. And so sometimes that's where we need professional help to come in. And in a Christian setting, we can always go to our pastors, we can go to elders, but we're gonna go to people who we trust, people who we know who will handle situation, help to manage the situation, and give good advice on how to get rid of this unforgiveness, because unforgiveness leads to pain that repeats itself. It's like you are imprisoned and you are chained forever. So ultimately, releasing someone in forgiveness is a gift to ourselves. It allows you to move forward and live the life that we were called to live. So we have to release ourselves in forgiveness and live the life that God intends us to live. Jesus Christ came so that we can have life, have it more abundantly. God bless you. Let go and let God. Amen. Shalom. Have a great and wonderful day. Amen.